everyone, welcome to Edukemy's YouTube page. I am Dimple Nankani, a faculty of Geography and Ethics in Edukemy. In this video, we are discussing question 1B of this year's ethics paper, that is 2022 ethics paper. Initial questions जो रहे हैं theory questions, question 1, 2, 3 and their subparts, they have been a little difficult and they have been lengthy. So we are covering these questions for your reference. Do watch the videos. Moving on, I will be starting off my discussion with question number 1B. The question is about that apart from intellectual competency and the moral qualities, empathy and compassion are some of the other vital attributes that facilitates a civil servant to be more competent in tackling the crucial issues or taking the critical decision, and we have to explain this with illustration. तो ये जो क्वेश्चन है, क्या क्वेश्चन पूछना क्या चाह रहा है? पहले इट इज सेइंग दैट वी नीड इंटेलेक्चुअल competencies and moral qualities. Apart from these intellectual competency and moral qualities, there are two important values, that is empathy and compassion. These two are also important for what? For enabling a civil servant to tackle the critical issues and the critical decisions. And we have to explain this via suitable illustrations. Basically क्वेश्चन बोल रहा है कि हाँ आपको मॉरल क्वालिटीज चाहिए, आपको इंटेलेक्चुअल कंपीटेंस चाहिए, ये चाहिए. इसके अलावा यू ऑल्सो नीड कंपैशन एंड एम्पैथी फॉर व्हाट? फॉर टेकिंग क्रिटिकल डिसीजंस. दैट अ सिविल सर्वेंट हैज टू टेक क्रूशियल डिसीजंस. Therefore, apart from these two, empathy and compassion is needed, and you need to explain this via suitable illustration. The keywords are that have been marked in your red color, that is intellectual competency, moral qualities, empathy, compassion in tackling the critical issues, in taking the critical decisions. Now, if I have to structure this question, structuring this question, I can structure this question as introduction, some diagram or example, the body and the conclusion. I know that in my body, I have to write about the compassion and empathy along with intellectual competencies and your moral qualities. So this and this, both of them are needed for some critical decisions. And you have to give examples. Now, how do you introduce? You can simply define compassion, empathy and give moral qualities, or you can start off in the introduction by mentioning the critical issues that a civil servant faces. What are the critical issues that a civil servant faces and how these qualities help him to take effective decision. Now, definition based introduction is not as impressive. So we are starting off with a contextual based introduction. इंट्रोडक्शन में हम क्या करेंगे? हम बताएंगे ये क्रिटिकल इश्यूज हैं, ये क्रिटिकल इश्यूज को सॉल्व करने के लिए आपको कुछ वैल्यूज लगते हैं. इन द डायग्राम यू कैन शो दोज वैल्यूज कि क्या वैल्यूज लगते हैं टू टैकल द क्रिटिकल. एंड इन द बॉडी यू कैन हाईलाइट अबाउट द कंपैशन, अबाउट एम्पैथी, and in the conclusion you can actually tell us about the importance of all the values, or you can also tell us about how can we inculcate compassion and empathy in a civil servant. So this can be the structuring part. So if I actually start off my introduction, definition is something that you can learn. I'll start off my introduction with a context. So let's say we know that what are the critical issues that a civil servant faces. The civil servant has to tackle various critical issues like hunger, disasters, there are riots that a civil servant has to face and has to take decision in those. So for tackling these critical issues, civil servants needs various qualities like, you know, we need selflessness, integrity, honesty, etc. Now what happens is in examination आपको बहुत सारे values याद नहीं आते, आप सिर्फ वही accountability, responsiveness, transparency लिख के आते हैं. So there are certain short forms that I generally tell in my class. You can use those short forms to get around 10-15 values. One short form that you can use for knowing the values has been given by Nolan Committee. Nolan Committee ने कुछ values बोली हैं. ये values के लिए एक short form है that is generally used as CO hollow. आप जब भी कोई values याद करना चाहते हैं एग्जामिनेशन प्रेशर टाइम कंडीशन में, आप दो शॉर्ट फॉर्म याद कर सकते हैं. वन इज CO hollow, द अदर इज एंडोसेटी. अगर आपको ये दो शॉर्ट फॉर्म्स याद आ गए एग्जामिनेशन में, CO hollow एंड एंडोसिटी, दैट मीन्स आपको 15 वैल्यूज याद आ जाएंगी. Let's look how. If you know that Nolan committee ने कुछ 7 values दी थी and उसका short form है CO HALO, like selflessness, integrity, objectivity, you have honesty, accountability, leadership and openness. तो ये 7 वैल्यूज हैं जो नोलन कमिटी ने बोली थी, सेल्फलेसनेस, इंटीग्रिटी, ऑब्जेक्टिविटी, ऑनेस्टी, अकाउंटेबिलिटी, लॉयल्टी एंड ओपननेस. तो ये 7 वैल्यूज आप कहीं पे भी यूज कर सकते हो. इन द एग्जामिनेशन यू जस्ट हैव टू रिमेंबर 2 शॉर्ट फॉर्म. वन इज दिस एंड द अदर इज एंडोसिटी. These endocities, these are the values, these are the foundational values given by second ARC. So some foundational values that have been given by second ARC, and this is a unit mentioned in your syllabus, that is aptitude and the foundational values for the civil services. And what values second ARC has pointed? Integrity, okay, non-partisanship, you have a dedication to public service, there is objectivity, compassion, empathy, tolerance and your impartiality. If you look at integrity, impartiality, non-partisanship, objectivity, dedication to public service, empathy, tolerance, compassion towards the weaker section. So these are 2 type of short form, Indocity and CO HALO, gives you a ready-made 15 values that you can use in your examination. So here हमारा introduction था कि yes, a civil servant faces a lot of critical issues like tackling hunger, poverty, riots, giving contracts, and has these crucial decisions need some values, and you can use these values. So now that we have highlighted, we've given the context कि हाँ critical decisions लेने हैं, उसके लिए कुछ values लगते हैं. उसके बाद what kind of diagram can I draw to get that 1 extra marks? So always remember that whenever there is recruitment going on, whenever there is critical decision that is going on, there are 2 competents. There are 2 things that are generally taken into account, intelligence and the moral qualities. It is nothing but your aptitude and attitude. So skill is about the aptitude and moral qualities is about the attitude. So आप whenever as a recruiter or whenever as an administrator, you know that these 2 things will be a basis of judgment, the aptitude and the attitude. And now for giving you a plus extra 1 marks in the examination, that you know, you've already said that कि yes, हमको कुछ critical decisions लेने हैं, जिसके लिए आपको कुछ values लगते हैं और ये values लगती हैं, and then you can show this diagram. That you can draw a quadrant here, a line here, a line here, and then you can say that okay, these are the positives, these are the negative, this is a positive and this is a negative. So I can basically have 4 kind of individuals. One who have good skills. This is a skill line. That is one person who has good skill. And the other who has not so good skill, who cannot be skilled, who doesn't have a very strong aptitude. The other line is about the moral qualities, when there are positive values, okay, that this person is a morally, ethically correct person. And the other type of person can be who does not have a very good attitude, who doesn't believe in virtues but has vices in him or her. So basically 4 type के लोग होंगे. One with the positive skill and positive values. Other would be with the positive values but he doesn't have much skill. One who does not have a skill and is not also value oriented, the 3rd type of person. And the 4th is who has good skills but doesn't have a very strong value system. Of all the 4, A, B, C and D, the most ideal one is this one, who has a good skills and who has positive values. So this is the most ideal person. Okay, the second one, that is who doesn't have a good value system but has very high skills. This person, this type of person can be a danger to the society. Okay, we have enough example of a terrorist. An example can be given Osama bin Laden, very high skills but negative value system. So such person is a danger to the society. This person is ideal person. The 3rd is who has positive values but has a negative skill. Such a person, the positive values and a negative skill, such a person can be trained. This person can be trained. To give aptitude, this person can become from this quadrant to this quadrant. So this can be trained. However, one person who doesn't have good skills, doesn't have a good value system, then such a person can be ignored. You do not need such a kind of a person. Doesn't have skills, doesn't have attitude, doesn't want to learn. That kind of person can be totally ignored. We need these kind of people, not only who have intellectual skills, but also have moral quality, and in those moral qualities, empathy and compassion are the most desired one. So in the body, you can actually highlight the importance of compassion and empathy. And there have been various examples also where compassion and empathy has enabled the civil servant to walk a mile forward, to step beyond their traditional work. This is what you will have to highlight. Examples, diagrams, something different from the other students will give you an extra edge there. If you look at this, some of the civil servants who have actually practiced compassion. Here in the body you can write compassion and empathy gives you a service orientation. That is, if you are a compassionate individual, if you are an empathetic individual, apart from your intellectual skill, you will walk a mile faster, you will have a service orientation, and you will not serve only the first man, but you will also serve as the last man in the row. So serving the last man in the row is not just about intellectual skills, it is about the values, and this enables a civil servant to be a change agent. That's what we have had enough photographs in the social media, in the regular media, wherein one civil servant, she went out beyond her traditional boundaries. That is Madam Kirti Jali. Kirti Jali, she is an IS officer who walked through the muds in the Assam flood districts. And then you can write, the floods may come and go, but a compassionate individual will make a difference. It will have this feeling of service orientation, Sarvodaya, but before Sarvodaya, it is Antodaya. So Antodaya se Sarvodaya, that will be served if you have compassion, if you have strong values, if you have moral qualities, if you are empathetic. So you can use these examples. The other example that you can generally use for compassion, as the name also suggests, the name of the district is a compassionate Kozhikode. So this compassionate Kozhikode has been a project that is in the Kozhikode district of Kerala, wherein via compassion and intellectual skill, IAS Prashant Nair sir has been able to give creative local solutions. The creative local solution has come via the local gathering the local competence, and this local competence and empathic heart has enabled to make district compassionate the individual. This has been done by using various sub programs in the program of compassionate Kozhikode. One aim was making the district hunger free. The other aim has been, you can see various other programs. There has been Savari Giri Giri, wherein the students, they have been facilitated to use the public transportation. Then there have been focus on the elderly population. There have been focus on shared stories of the unsung heroes. Compassion, that you value their heroes, you value the history of those districts. So this is what has enabled citizens to also trust the citizen administration there. So here, not only do we need intellectual skills, we need compassion to connect, we need compassion to serve it better, we need compassion to empathize and become a change agent. That is the importance of compassion and empathy, which goes beyond your intellectual skill. Now, what do we actually need? In reality, you need both the head and the heart. So what kind of head do we need? We need the head of Einstein and we need the heart of Gautam Buddha. So we need both head and heart. So it is about, in the conclusion, a civil servant should aspire to have a head of Einstein and a heart of Gautam Buddha. You can either use this as a conclusion, or you can use very famous quote by Warren Buffett, which says that when you are recruiting, when you are appointing someone, you generally look for three things. That is the integrity, intelligence and energy. If you don't have integrity, if you don't have compassion, if you don't have moral qualities, in the first two, it doesn't make a difference. You can end it with a quote, or you can also make a contextual based conclusion. We know that in Weberian tribe, the bureaucracy was advised to be discompassionate. Compassion was seen as being interference to rationality. That's what a Weberian bureaucracy was about. But now we know that we've moved from the Weberian bureaucracy to being a service-oriented bureaucracy. हमें Weber की bureaucracy नहीं चाहिए, हमें service-oriented bureaucracy चाहिए. So you can give a context-based conclusion also that a civil servant is more than a mere job. It is not a mere job. Civil service is not a mere job. It is about fulfilling the social contract. That in the social contract where the king is the citizen and a civil servant is basically a servant. Serving the king, that is your citizen. So a civil servant is nothing but a servant serving your citizens, and that's what we aspire for. So we know that it is not a mere job, it is a social contract, and therefore a bureaucracy needs to come out of the compassionate behavior, and this can be only done when we have compassionate bureaucracy. So movement from discompassionate bureaucracy to the compassionate bureaucracy is what we need. Right. So this was your question number 1B. I hope you liked the video. Do like, share and subscribe to our channel. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.